Hello and welcome to another session where we're going to talk about some grade 10 math. I'm using IXL to help give us some exercises to practice and help our discussion. Feel free to explore that further or use your own platform or book that you're comfortable with. But we do have to practice these questions a little more than what we're doing in the videos. We're going to go talk about polynomials, specifically factoring. Now, I want to talk about just the easier versions where we have just a 1 in front of the variable squared, the leading coefficient of the polynomial, the number in front here is just a 1. Make sure you master these first before putting some other numbers in front there, because that difficulty does go up quite a bit. Now, there's a fine balance between understanding what we're doing and using some shortcuts later on to speed things up and become a little bit more efficient. I don't want to blindly just plug and play into some shortcut formula. I do want to understand what I'm doing because that gives me the platform to handle more complicated stuff down the line. So, what we're going to look at here is trying to create two brackets and thinking about the foiling in reverse. Foil in reverse. If you don't know what foil is, then go back and build that up before getting here. When we have a bracket like this, let's just say randomly, whatever, x minus 2, x plus 3, we can simplify that by connecting all the pairs from one from each bracket. First ones will be these ones, and then the outside ones will be, I'm not going to make, well, I'll make some lines here, sure, will be a plus 3x. Inside ones will be a minus 2x, and the last ones will be, oh no, not minus, not plus, but minus, a minus 6. So the very first thing we see from this little example, now we're going to try and reverse engineer this one so that when I simplify or FOIL out the brackets, I get this result. Well, based on what we understand and our experience we've already gained by normally simplifying this instead of in reverse, I'm going to have to start with a t in both, because I know when I multiply the first ones, I need to get a t squared, and a t in both will give me that. So I can check, okay, that those first ones, those are going to be good. Next, I look at the last ones. The options here to start with are fairly limited because the 2, forget the negative and positive for now, the 2 and the 3 need to multiply when I multiply the last ones and give me this 6. So if I'm going to get a 16, these two places in the arrows, where the arrows are, need to be factors of 16. So what are all my factors? Or not factors necessarily, but let's call it factor pairs. Specifically two numbers multiplied together to give me 16 of 16. So factor pairs of 16. Well, 1 and 16 itself, 2 and 8, 3 no, 4 and 4 is a factor pair, 5 no, 6 no, 7 no, 8 and 2 we already have, so in no particular order. We only have these factor pairs. There are other factors, but we need 2 making 16 specifically. So now I can look at the sign as well and say, okay, well, how do I get a negative here? Negative sign versus a positive sign. Well, understanding what I'm doing when I FOIL, I'm not randomly going to get a negative or a positive here. I got a negative because one was a minus and one was a plus. If they were both pluses, I would get a positive. If they were both minuses, I would get a positive again. So here, this sign over here, which will be this one, if it's negative, then inside the brackets, let's say the sign inside the brackets must be different. If I'm going to get a positive here, inside the brackets, the signs inside has to be the same. So it's either a plus and a plus, or it's a minus and a minus. So again, just by understanding the simplification and the foiling, I can decipher a lot from looking at the final result. That the t squared tells me a t start with a t in both. The 16 tells me end with a factor pair of 16. Not sure which one yet. The plus tells me that the signs have to be the same in the brackets, because when I then multiply these together, that's the only way I can get that plus that I need to get. And I'm simply basing that on reverse engineering my experience of foiling. So it's very important, I'll say again, that you are rock solid on simplifying and foiling these out before trying to reverse engineer it. All right, I'm going to go to pink here so it doesn't get too messy, and we can focus on how do we get these middle two. Now, if I put these together, in this case, we get a positive 1x. I'll emphasize the 1. Where do we get this 1? Well, it comes from the positive 3 and the negative 2. Meaning if I put these together, they need to give me the coefficient of x. And that's always going to be the case. So now I'm reverse engineering this. I know the coefficient of my variable t in this case is a positive 10. How do I put them together? Which of these pairs will be added together to give me the 10 I need to get? Well, it's going to be this one. So it's totally okay if you feel there's a slight element of guessing here. So I'm going to put a 2 and an 8 in there. Now I know that the signs in the brackets have to be the same. I've established that because of this positive 16. If they're both negative, then negative 2 and negative 8 will make a negative 10. Now I need to get a positive. So they both have to be positive. So I'm just going to erase this so it doesn't confuse us too much. Now, let's maybe check, no, not eraser. Let's maybe check our answer. This is our best guess based on our experience. You can always check by foiling this out, forgetting what the answer should be. What is the answer that I get from this? And if it matches, then this was correct. So first ones, outside ones, 8t, inside ones, last ones. And you see that's exactly what we're going to get, and therefore this was correct. So let's type that in. I know there was a long discussion for the first one, but if this is your first time looking at this, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while, and it's not that easy. T plus 2 times t plus 8. All right, and the more you do it, like anything else, the better it will get. Let's have a look at this one. Every time a little bit faster. If it's too fast for you, then slow down, listen to the previous example again. Now we're going to think without a working example like we had before. I'm going to start with a J, very, very badly written J's. Come on, I can do better than that. No, apparently I can't. There we go. J is our variable. The only way, think about foiling it in reverse. The only way I can get the j squared is by starting with a j in both. So I know I'll get that. Now I need to look at factor pairs of 10. Those will be put in the last places of each bracket. Well, 1 and 10, 2 and 5, no 3, no 4, 5 and 2 are the same. So those are my only two. So I'm quite limited because it has to be a factor pair. So one of them is going to go in here. 1 and 10, 2 and 5, not sure which one yet. But I know, based on this plus here, that the sign has to be either a positive in both or a negative in both. They have to be the same. So this means same sign. Factor pair of 10. So when I put them together, I will have to get an 11. Well, it has to be the 1 and the 10. Now, do I put both minuses? Well, no, then I'll get negative 11. So I have to put both pluses. Let's have a little check. You can always check. Foil this out. I get the first ones. I get the outside ones. I get the inside ones. I get the last ones. That's exactly my answer, and therefore this was correct. Just takes practice like anything else. But do not rush to make this more complicated and put a different leading coefficient. Those are a step up, and I want to have a nice solid base to build on. We got it. Can we squeeze in one more? 12 minutes, but I think we can do it. Don't want the video to be too long. Let's see. Building two brackets, thinking of foiling in reverse. I have to start with an n in each. Now I'm looking at factor pairs. Of course, in a video like this, we can't cover all the different options. Let me know in the comments if you need a follow-up video on this. There's so much we can do. Factor pairs of 7, well, that is nice because 7 is prime. There's only 1 and 7 as a factor pair option. So I don't even really care. There's only one option. It has to be a 1 and a 7. So I'll just put them in. Beautiful. Now, I know from this that the signs have to be the same in the brackets. Two negatives will be put together by addition as a negative 8. And I have a positive there. So I need a plus in both. Foil that out, double check that you actually get the answer back, then you know it's correct. Let's quickly put that in plus 1. Then we'll wrap it up here, but there's always more to talk about. Let me know if you need more. Let us see that one. Have a look at that one. Try it on your own based on how we've done it. Let me know in the comments what you think the answer is. We'll end with a little commercial telling you more about us, and then we will continue our discussions next time. Until then.
Welcome to MathCats, where we aim to better understand mathematics. Join us weekly for discussions on elementary, high school, through to university math. You can request the next topic by leaving a comment on our YouTube channel or by emailing us at mathcats314@gmail.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.